The message arrived at 7 in the morning, precisely when my coffee machine chose to make the noise of a dying walrus and spit boiling water onto my socks. As I hopped around cursing my appliances, a shimmering courier drone drifted through my window as calmly as if this were normal behavior. It bumped into my wall twice, apologized to the wall, then turned toward me with a cheerful chime. "Human recipient," it said, after attempting my name and giving up. "You have been designated the inheritor of the late Cariel of the Vale Unconquered." I froze. Cariel, my friend, the alien who once helped me unclog my sink by using nanobots that ate half the pipes. The only being who ever sent me birthday cards written in 3 languages I couldn't read. And now he was gone. Before I could ask anything, the drone emitted a burst of light and projected a holographic legal document large enough to block half my apartment. The glowing letters floated in the air, forming complex spirals that made my eyes water. I tried to scroll, but the document kept politely correcting my hand movements, like a parent gently moving a toddler away from electrical sockets. Inheritance includes assets, estate, vault accounts, vessel, diplomatic privileges, the drone said, and one bonded companion as declared by the Valun right of continuance. Bonded what? I asked. The drone spun in a circle, then split open like a mechanical flower. Something stepped out, a woman. Well, mostly a woman, humanoid, tall, graceful, wearing silver fabric that shimmered like liquid moonlight. And her ears, long and curved like crescent blades, twitching ever so slightly as she examined me. "Are you the human?" she asked, tilting her head. "I was last time I checked," I said. She blinked slowly, a gesture that on her looked suspiciously like disappointment. "I am Lyra of House Valun. By Cariel's decree, I am to become your diplomatic bondmate." There are many ways a man can react to being told a beautiful, long-eared alien woman has been legally assigned to him. I chose the one involving incoherent babbling and accidentally knocking over the drone. I can't know, this is some kind of mistake," I stammered. "You can't just inherit people." "I am not a possession," she said, lifting her chin. "This is a political bond, not servitude, a treaty safeguard, a link between our species." And apparently, she glanced around my disaster of an apartment, a significant downgrade in lifestyle. I opened and closed my mouth like a faulty smart door. The drone, now wobbling from being knocked over, projected a cheerful disclaimer. "Refusal of the bond will initiate diplomatic dishonor and possible interstellar grievance procedures. Also, this unit asks that you please stop hitting it." Lyra sighed as if the entire universe inconvenienced her. "Cariel trusted you. He believed you capable of honoring his final arrangement." That hit harder than I expected. Memories surfaced. Cariel laughing as he tried Earth coffee for the first time. Cariel teaching me how to insult a lunar eel without starting a fight. Cariel promising to show me his homeworld one day. And now he'd gone and left me a mansion, a fortune, and this woman who looked at me like she was evaluating whether humans came with return policies. "Okay," I said finally. "Let's start over. You said you're a diplomatic bondmate. What does that mean?" "That we are now linked by Valun law," she replied. "I will advise you, represent our clan beside you, and ensure your survival in interstellar affairs. You will try not to embarrass us." "That's asking a lot," I muttered. Her long ears twitched. Was that amusement or horror? Hard to tell. The drone chimed again and displayed coordinates, a floating estate suspended over the city in a private gravity column. "Apparently mine now." "It is customary," Lyra said, "for the inheritor to tour the estate immediately. We will depart when you are done performing basic grooming." I looked down, coffee stains, burned socks, bed hair that resembled a meteor impact site. "Right," I said. "Give me 5 minutes." "I anticipate it will take you longer," she said. "It's called optimism," I replied. "It's called denial." Despite everything, the shock, the grief pressing behind my ribs, her dry tone pulled a laugh out of me. Maybe Cariel knew exactly what he was doing. Maybe he'd left me more than responsibility. Maybe he'd left me a chance to grow into someone who could handle it. But first, I had to survive meeting my own inheritance. The estate floated above the city like a lazy soap bubble someone had forgotten to pop. A shimmering gravity column carried us upward, humming gently as if it were pleased with itself. Lyra stood beside me with the posture of someone granting an audience to the universe, while I held onto the safety rail because gravity columns were not designed with nervous humans in mind. "You can let go," she said without looking at me. "I will let go when falling to my death is no longer an option," I replied. "You are statistically more likely to fall off your own furniture. That doesn't make this better." When we reached the top, the estate revealed itself in full. Transparent walls formed from folded lens crystal, gardens suspended in anti-grav bands, a courtyard where plants rearranged themselves when walked through. The mansion itself seemed to breathe, its facade shifting subtly like it was choosing which angle to greet us with. "This was Cariel's refuge between missions," Lyra said. "He maintained it carefully." "It looks like it maintains itself," I said as a floating broom glided past us and judged my existence with a single beep. Inside, the halls were filled with strange artifacts, glowing spheres, folded sheets of matter that hummed when touched, and a hovering chandelier that rotated away nervously whenever I got too close. Lyra moved with confidence, her long ears twitching in recognition of the place. She was beautiful, yes, but in the way comets are beautiful, something you admire from a distance if you prefer staying alive. "Our first task," she said, "is locating the inheritance ledger and identifying what Cariel intended for you to steward." "I still think he chose the wrong guy," I muttered. "He disagreed," she said simply. "Cariel believed in improbable outcomes, and you, unfortunately, qualify." The ledger room opened with a soft hiss, revealing a spherical chamber where information floated in midair like drifting constellations. In the center hovered a crystalline interface that pulsed with faint blue light. "This is the central archive," Lyra said. "It contains his will, recorded logs, diplomatic assignments." She stopped, her ears angled sharply backward. "What?" "There is an encryption layer that should not be here." "Is that bad?" "It means someone altered the archive after his death." My heart thumped loudly, so someone broke in. "Not physically, they accessed this remotely." She stepped toward the interface and symbols lit up around her hand, then fizzled. "And they protected their edits. Amateurs would hide them, professionals leave them like invitations." "That sounds suspicious." "That is because it is suspicious." Before I could process this, the room's light dimmed and a voice chimed from behind us. "Greetings, designated inheritor," said the Starship AI, apparently projecting itself into the room uninvited. "Would you like to tour your new vessel now?" "No," I said. "Request recorded as yes, preparing nav route." "That's not what I hey." Lyra sighed. "Your Starship personality core is outdated. Its interpretation algorithms are optimistic. Can we make it less optimistic? It would require a personality reset." "And is that safe?" "For the ship, yes. For you." Her ears twitched. "Unclear." We followed the AI's insistent blinking arrows through a corridor that rearranged itself mid-walk, causing me to bump into a shifting wall that apologized in 3 languages. Eventually, we reached the hangar where the ship rested like a sleek metallic seed pod, its hull shimmering with iridescent blue patterns. "Designation, Wayfarer's Echo," the AI announced proudly. "I am pleased to finally meet you in person, Inheritor." "You're a ship," I said. "We all have limitations." Lyra walked around the vessel, inspecting it with a technical eye. "This model is old but reliable. Cariel preferred machines that argued less." "I can argue more," the AI said helpfully. I stepped inside the vessel, feeling strangely small in the spacious cockpit. The control surfaces glowed softly, adjusting themselves to my hand size. "This is incredible," I whispered. "It is yours," Lyra said, "and you will need it." "For what?" She hesitated, just for a moment. It was the first time I'd seen uncertainty on her face. "There are tensions within the conquered," she said quietly. "Cariel's death may not have been accidental, and if he chose you as inheritor, it means you possess something his enemies fear." I swallowed. "Like what? My charm, my debt?" "Your unpredictability." Before I could respond, the archive alarm chimed through the estate, 3 notes that sounded like panicked wind chimes. "Unauthorized access attempt," the AI reported. "Source unknown." Lyra's eyes sharpened. "Someone is trying to breach Cariel's records again. And they know I'm here." "Not yet," she said, "but they will." I exhaled shakily. "Okay, what do we do?" "We act as Cariel expected." Her ears angled forward, fierce and elegant. "We investigate, we prepare. And you," she poked my chest lightly, "learn not to panic." "I am not panicking. You are breathing like a malfunctioning compressor." Despite the danger, a strange warmth settled in my chest. Maybe terror mixed with admiration. Maybe just low blood sugar. Hard to tell. But with Lyra beside me, long ears twitching with determination, the vast inheritance no longer felt like a burden alone. It felt like the beginning of something neither of us was ready for. Yet both of us were now tangled in. The estate's alarm still echoed through the halls when we reached the archive chamber again. The holographic constellations flickered as though holding their breath. Lyra stepped forward, her long ears angled sharply in alertness, and the crystalline interface responded to her presence, glowing brighter, opening layers of data like petals. Someone had definitely been tampering, and now they were back. "Can they see us?" I whispered. "They can sense activity in the archive," she said, "but they cannot see us unless they break the next firewall. And if they break it, then they will know exactly who inherited Cariel's legacy, including me." "Great," I muttered. "I always wanted to be a galactic target before breakfast." The archive pulsed with a warning tone, sharp this time. A breach attempt surged across the interface like a crack in ice. Lyra's hands moved swiftly, weaving counter-commands through the symbols. I wasn't much help, but I tried to look supportive, which mostly meant standing still and trying not to faint. A hidden file suddenly bloomed from the interface, a hologram of Cariel himself. He looked calm, even smug, as if he expected someone to stumble upon this at exactly the wrong moment. "If you are seeing this," the recording said, "then either I am dead or I am late to dinner again. If the former, I apologize. If the latter, I am not sorry." I felt a lump in my throat. Even Lyra's posture softened slightly. "Cariel," she whispered. The hologram continued. "Someone in the conquered seeks control of our house's assets. They cannot claim them if passed to an off-world inheritor under the right of continuance. That is you, my human friend." He smiled warmly. "I chose you because your decisions are never predictable. Predictability is a weakness in diplomacy and in survival." I blinked. "So he left me everything because I'm bad at planning." "You are unconventional," Lyra said politely. "That means unprepared, doesn't it?" "Statistically," she admitted. The hologram dimmed, revealing one final message. "Protect Lyra. She is the heart of this plan." Lyra inhaled sharply. Before either of us could process that, the archive's alarms erupted. Someone had broken through the second firewall. A cold voice echoed through the chamber, distorted by encryption. "Human inheritor, surrender the archive." "Nope," I said on instinct. Lyra gave me a quick, incredulous look, but the corner of her mouth twitched. "A bold refusal," she murmured. I panicked, I whispered back. The interface flashed a warning. The attacker was initiating a system override. "We need to move," Lyra said. "Now." We sprinted out of the chamber, the estate reacting to the threat, walls shifting into protective configurations, doors sealing behind us. The lights flickered with each attempted breach. The Starship AI began shouting helpfully through the speakers. "Inheritor, intrusion detected. Please proceed to the hangar in an orderly, oh never mind, run." We ran. In the hangar, Wayfarer's Echo powered up, its engines already humming. "Welcome aboard," the AI said. Apologies for the panic ambience. As the ramp lifted, I looked back to see ghost-like projections flickering at the estate's entrance, misty figures trying to stabilize their teleportation. Whoever they weren't here to return a borrowed cup of sugar. The ship launched in a smooth arc, breaking through the gravity bubble and soaring into the twilight sky. Lyra strapped herself beside me in the cockpit. We must disable their connection to the archive before they seize it. And how do we do that? We get ahead of them physically. That sounds bad. It is. We shot toward orbit, climbing fast. Below us, the estate glowed like a fallen star. Ahead, a small craft shimmered into view, the attacker's vessel narrow and predatory. They are arming a tether link, the AI warned. Meaning? I asked. Meaning they intend to hijack something important. Us, possibly, but also your snack drawer. Not the snacks, I murmured, horrified. Lyra touched the navigation controls. I will disable their link, you fly. What? I don't know how. Trust me, she said. Cariel did. That hit harder than I expected. I swallowed, placed my hands on the controls, and prayed the ship didn't require any sudden interpretive dance maneuvers. The attacker ship fired a glowing tether line toward us. I jerked the controls, not gracefully, not heroically, more like someone swerving to avoid an aggressive pigeon, and the line missed us by a few meters. Good. Lyra said, her voice tight but sincere. Again. Another tether shot out. I angled the ship sharply. The hull complained with several creaks and one insult, but the line missed. Lyra tapped commands rapidly. A burst of shimmering interference shot from our ship, fracturing the attacker's link and shutting down their access to the archive. They're retreating, the AI reported. The enemy craft vanished in a shimmer, folding out of normal space. I sagged back in the seat, breath shaking. Did we do it? We did, Lyra said softly. For the first time, she wasn't composed. She looked at me with open, vulnerable eyes. Her long ears dipped forward, expressing a quiet relief she didn't try to hide. You protected Cariel's legacy, she said, and you protected me. I chuckled weakly, mostly by panicking strategically. It was effective, she said, in its own chaotic way. We drifted above the curve of Earth, the blue glow reflecting across her features. Our bond, she said after a moment, began as duty, as law, but it does not have to remain that. I nodded slowly. Yeah. I figured Cariel trusted us for a reason. She studied me quietly. You are not the man who stood shaking in his kitchen this morning, she said. You have grown. Thanks, I murmured. You know, so have you. Her ears curled slightly in amusement. You believe I was flawed. No, but maybe you were closed, and now you're not. A soft silence followed, comfortable, warm. Finally, Lyra leaned back and said, we should return. The estate will be anxious. The estate is a building. It worries more than you do. Fair enough. As Wayfarer's echo descended toward home, I realized something simple and unmistakable. Cariel hadn't left me a burden. He'd left me a beginning, and for the first time I was ready to face it.